Hey everyone, it is Mike Less, and here is some 2018 wheat harvest action from Johnson, Kansas. I took the last week of June off on vacation, and my dad come out to visit, and my dad had never been out west, so he said, if you drive, I'll go. My dad hates to drive, but anyways, he brought out his new Chevy pickup truck, and I put some miles on it for him. So my daughter, dad, and I all headed out. We visited some farmer friends we know in Alva, Oklahoma area. Then we headed over to the panhandle of Texas. I showed my dad some of the big feedlots over by Hereford, Texas. Then we headed up here to southwest Kansas, town of Johnson, where my cousin Bud Less lives and farms. This area of Kansas is very dry and depends largely on irrigation to grow some good crops. However, there is a lot of dryland wheat grown here as well. But as you can see in the field here, this is a circle of wheat. And this is some irrigated wheat. They had all their dryland wheat done prior to us getting here. But anyways, taking off the last couple fields here, and we were here to catch all the action and hang out with them for about a day and a half. I also got some other videos from this area that I will be uploading or editing later. I got one with 4 different combines running in the same field, 2 tractors and grain carts from Strunk Harvesting, and also got one of my cousin Bud pulling a sweep plow with the versatile 875 tractor he just picked up. A lot of the wheat in this area is cut by custom harvesters, and on this farm, up until about 6 years ago, they used to depend on custom harvesters as well. But as they told me, the cost of the harvesters went up, and getting people there when you wanted them sometimes was a hassle, so they went ahead and bought their own combine and grain cart to get the job done. So in this video, they are in here with their John Deere S670 Combine with a 32-foot Shellbourne stripper header on it, and that is a John Deere 8430 over there on the Brent Avalanche grain cart. The header you see on the combine here, the Shellbourne Reynolds, I believe is built in the UK, and they do have North American headquarters in Colby, Kansas. This is what they refer to as a stripper header, and this actually just strips the head or the grain right off the top of the wheat stalk and leaves the whole stalk standing in the field. So it's a different concept, but you're seeing more and more of these out here. They use these in wheat, and I'm also told they use them in rice. And they got the first field wrapped up here, and they're getting ready to head to another field here. As you'll see, the thing I really like out here is not a lot of people out here, not a lot of traffic up and down the roads, and they can actually take these 32-foot headers right down the road without taking them off the combine. And very seldom will you ever come across another vehicle that you have to get over for. It was 105 degrees Fahrenheit while we were out here, which sounds hot, but there was no humidity. Come back home to Ohio where it was 90 degrees with very high humidity. It was actually worse. So I got ahead of the guys here to get this shot as they moved to the next field, which was about 8 miles down the road. And there goes the combine, tractor and grain carts coming, and then I went to cut the camera off as my dad was coming behind, and he yelled, "Film me, film me," so he's in the video too. And there goes my dad right there in his new Chevy truck. He just got the first of the year. When he got to my house with it before we left, he had exactly 3,000 miles on it, and then I put another 3,600 miles on it by the time we got made the trip.
And here's something you don't see every day, me driving a Ford pickup truck, but it's my cousin's. He likes Fords, and that's all right. It's a pretty nice truck. If I couldn't have a Chevy or a GM, Ford would probably be my next choice. And we'll catch back up here to the crew and follow them to the next field.
And it was a pretty windy day here in southwest Kansas, but we got some drone footage from the other field here. Having this wheat stubble so high made for a tough takeoff with the drone, but Bud come over and packed down a bunch of wheat stubble for me so I could get a good place to take off from. And it is pretty desolate out here in southwest Kansas. cousin drives over 70 miles just to go to a Walmart, the closest Walmart in Lamar, Colorado. The town of Johnson, basically the grain elevators are the high point of the town. It does have a small hospital, a couple restaurants, just got a Dollar General and a grocery store, to name a few of the things in town. And a John Deere dealer.
You're on video.
And I have been loading him very heavy, just so he sits here.
So for those of you that may not be familiar with when I was talking about a circle of wheat, out here it's, like I said, everything's pretty well irrigated, especially if you're going to grow corn or milo. So they take a section, which would be, 1 square mile, 640 acres, and a lot of times it's broke off into 4 fields, so what they call a quarter, which would be 160 acres, and then you put a pivot in there, so there would a lot of times be 4 pivots in a whole section, or 4 quarters. So that circle, since the corners are not being planted, the actual circle that's irrigated is approximately 122 acres. So a lot of times in the corners, then they'll grow sometimes just grass, dryland wheat, dryland milo. Usually not enough rain here to grow dryland corn though. And we are back at the farm for the evening and getting ready to head to Ulysses, Kansas to go eat some authentic Mexican food. We're trucking the grain to the grain elevator right in Johnson, Kansas. They got a couple bins here on the farm that they stored some seed wheat in only. And that is going to wrap up this video. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I know I sure enjoyed my time out here in Southwest Kansas. I've been out here many times, but it's the first time I've done a video right here. Thanks again.